This can actually change your life. Welcome back to my channel. It is a beautiful Sunday here. Stoked to record this video because I feel like it's going to be very helpful for some of you who are having a hard time figuring out exactly what you're good at. This video was inspired by somebody very close to me who would always message me about having a hard time finding exactly what she was good at. Being somebody who's been pretty consistent with her main interest, which is fashion and beauty, I couldn't fathom being somebody who's interested in a lot of things but just doesn't know where to start building those interests. Before I get into exactly how you can find out what you're good at, please remember to subscribe and like this video. That way you're updated on exactly when I'm releasing new videos. As always, if you haven't followed me on Instagram and Twitter and other social media jazz, I will put it right here and also in the links down below. Just because it's popular to have a passion these days doesn't mean that you need to have one in order to be happy. We have this misconception that passion means that you're going to feel a much more fully lived life, but that is just not true. Take me as an example. I'm struggling every single day to turn this passion of mine into reality. Honestly, it's a pretty freaking hard time. If you're somebody who is just simply interested in a lot of things and you want to spend your time enjoying those things, please realize the grass is not greener. We're not experiencing a life that's a higher quality than yours just because we have a specific passion that we're pretty set on. And it also doesn't mean that we're not interested in other things. We're just not choosing to put more time into those other skills that we're good at, and we're fixated on one. Neither way is right or wrong. It's just about what works for you and what kind of person you are. Now that I've helped you realize that there is completely nothing wrong with you, let's get you started on figuring out exactly what you could be good at and maybe help you discover some hidden passions that you have that you just haven't uncovered yet. The ego, surprisingly, doesn't only have to do with pride. The ego can also be a mechanism inside of you that stops you from trying things that you really desire. A lot of times when we're younger, we actually have a common problem, which is our ego. Our ego not only has to do with our pride, but it has a lot to do with this inner mechanism that is constantly trying to stop you from doing the exact things that are going to bring you the most happiness. This is because it's scary to go after things that you truly desire because we're told that we have to live our lives a specific way since the day we were born. This can actually change your life if you recognize that you're the only person stopping yourself because of ego, because of fears and insecurities from doing the things that ultimately make you shine and bring you joy. Another question that's important to ask yourself when you're trying to figure out what exactly you're good at is, what do people ask you for help with? So using myself as an example, a lot of people come to me looking for advice on how to get out of a rut or how to get that extra little boost of motivation to finally go after the things that they want to go after. I realized despite having similar fears to all of my friends, I actually don't have a hard time deciding on doing the thing that scares me the most. And that's always how I lived my life. I just do the things that scare the shit out of me because you are on this planet only once. You will regret when you're 90 years old not having booked that flight that you've always wanted to book to that place that you've always wanted to visit, or starting that business that you've always wanted to start because you truly believed in it. It's very easy for me to relate to other people because I'm a super empathetic person and I'm able to feel the emotions of other people as they're talking to me. And so I realized that one of my strengths is that I love talking to people. They feel very comfortable around me. I'm able to give advice and motivation on things that are important to them, and they always end up feeling better, more energized, and more pumped up to go after the things that they want to go after they speak to me. So that's one thing that I realized, oh, people come to me for that. Maybe I should turn that into a career because it's actually something I'm naturally good at, which is one of the biggest perks. If you're naturally good at something, you should really look into growing that skill. You can probably do that thing very well consistently over a long period of time. Another crucial point to think about when you're trying to figure out what you're good at, what activity can you do consistently over a long period of time? So think about that thing that makes you completely zoned in. You don't think about the time, like the hours are literally flying. and you are truly just in that present moment with that activity. It could be a specific sport, it could be music, it could be building a robot out of nothing. Those things are really going to show you what you can do over the long term and potentially be really good at, and you probably are already good at, but get even better at over a long period of time. So for me, this is creating content that is either motivational or creating fashion and beauty content of visually appealing things. I literally get lost in that time and space. I don't even think about, you know, the seconds that are ticking. I don't really even notice who's around me. I just zone in. It will ultimately serve you because you're only going to keep getting better as you do more of it. So really think about what that specific thing is that you can always do over and over and over again and never get sick of, because you're going to really want to turn that into something that could make a living for you. Then you're never going to get sick of working because you're going to love what you do so much that you would do it for free. Consider what gives and drains energy from you. If you're doing something that's taking energy away from you, that's probably not something you want to continue doing, because that means that you're getting a low return on investment on the energy you're putting into that activity. You want to find an activity that gives you back at least the same amount of energy that you put in, or 3, 4, or multiple times more energy. That means the more that you do this activity, you're actually getting more energy out of it over the long term. So for me, this is connecting and talking to other people through speaking. So that means I'm connecting through verbal interactions. This means I hate texting about my feelings. I text like I speak, and I talk a lot. It's just not physically feasible for me to be texting about my emotions. And I also don't feel that intimacy that I feel is crucial for talking things out in relationships and friendships. So that's how I learned that I actually get more energy from connecting with people physically and through speaking. Another way I found out is by spending a lot of time at home and then realizing that after about 48 hours, I would just get so depressed. I just get energy by being around people, and this doesn't mean that I don't need rest and alone time. It just means that the proportion of alone time versus being around people time needs to be a little bit lower on the alone time side. So that is all I have today for today's video on how to figure out what you're good at. I hope it was helpful. I honestly think it is really difficult when you are interested in so many things but you just don't know which one to decide on and run with, because I completely understand that feeling of making a wrong decision and then having regret. But I truly believe that you won't regret any decision that you make, and nothing is wasted time. Everything is in perfect timing. You have to go through the exact things that you go through, even though they don't make sense at that time, to get to that final point where you know exactly what makes you happy, what makes you tick, and how you can go about living a fulfilling and happy and joyous life, because we're all just on this incredible journey called life. So there's nothing to be afraid of. We're all in this together. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. I'm gonna go drink more coffee now, but as I'm doing that, please remember to subscribe and like this video so that I can keep releasing good stuff for you. And then also remember to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I will put it down below. Also have right here. You can follow me and then watch my hilarious stories, which I've been told are hilarious several times by strangers and friends. So until next time, stay iconic.